Everyone. This is basically a take three of trying to do this stream. YouTube sort of changed some things around with the app, and I couldn't figure out to do the orientation of the thing, and I was not going to hold my phone like this, to do this. Um, but yeah, let's get down to the heart of what this thing is going to be about, which is the new a record set coming out of Apple and Capitol of the Beatles, which is basically um, the early albums of the Beatles in mono, coming out on vinyl. First ever vinyl issue for these records ever since they stopped making them during, I guess, 1988. So it's been since the 80s since we gotten these. Actually, it's been, well, for this set, it's been longer because um, they stopped reissuing the mono albums for the Beatles during, I want to say, the early 70s, and they focused mainly on the stereo versions of the albums. So it's been a long while since the mono Capitol albums have ever been pressed on vinyl. So it's been like, maybe 50 years since, maybe more. So I have to say I am pretty excited for this one. Um, as everybody knows, I am not much of a mono fan. I like stereo a lot, but I think after hearing Tim Allen, who I do the streams with, along with Dusty Spins and Groovy Lisa. I think after talking to him a lot about the mono albums, and I start to finally listen to them in mono, I'm actually find myself liking the mono mixes as well. Even though I will still go back to stereo mixes, it's always good to to go out and venture, listen to the mono stuff. Because the mono mixes have like their own charms as well. And I remember even I think this was back in 2004 when Capitol and Apple put out the U.S. Capitol albums Volume One, and then about 2 years later they did Volume Two. Listening to these albums not only in stereo but also listening to them in mono, being very very excited because um, as someone who grew up with her dad's record collection, um, he had like basically the mono albums of these records, and the stereo mixes I've heard on cassettes. So I remember when that set came out in 2004 2006, being very very happy that Capitol and Apple uh, decided to recognize these albums as somewhat canon. Um, even though I know like purists are gonna be out there being all like, no, these albums are not canon. The UK albums are canon, which I in a way do agree with. But I think when it comes to us Americans who grew up with these albums, these are canon as well. These are how we here in America known these albums throughout the 60s. We always know that there's a Meet the Beatles second album, this Hard Day's Night version, something new, early Beatles 65, and yeah, we'll mention Beatles Story. Not many people like this album. I haven't listened to it yet. I have it on my collection, but I never listened to this album yet. Still need to one of these days. Maybe one day when I find myself really bored, I'll spin this. Um, but I love uh but hey Nick, awesome. I'm gonna get to that in a little bit right now. But yeah, I'm happy to because I've always wanted to get these albums also in mono as well, and I wanted to get them in a very nice clean condition as well, too, because as we all know, back in the '60s when the mono albums came out mainly for the young fans and stuff like that, the young people. Whereas the stereo ones were for people that, could shed out like, a bit more money and stuff like that. And they're more for the audio files and stuff like that. For me personally, I am not an audiophile, but I do love listening to everything as separate, as a songwriter and musician. Stereo works for me because I like listening to things in a kind of an individual way, picking things out so that if I'm gonna ever cover a song, I could listen to one channel and it could be okay, the lead guitar is in this channel. I could just, take off this one headphone, listen to what the lead guitar is doing and see if I can replicate that, or if the rhythm guitar player is in the other channel, and that's the way it is for me when it comes to stereo. But going back to it, right, Nick? Yeah. Um, but when it came to the mono albums, they were mainly put out there for the young people, and young people back then. I'm sorry to say this, but I disagree with Tim. The young people back then, they really did not take care of their albums. It was a thing where, like, if they took an album out, and then like you'll see you see pictures of it. You see pictures of like teens listening to the records back in the 60s, and you see like the records all over the floor, and they never put the record back into the sleeve and stuff like that. So if you would look at like mono second album, it looks very, very thrash. It looks like it was never really taken good care of. And so it's really hard to find like a really nice clean copy of the mono versions of these albums. That's why I am so happy that they're putting these out. And I remember even saying to myself like last year that I really need to write a letter to Capitol Records being like, hey, you guys might want to look into putting out, the Capitol albums on vinyl too. Those people would love to hear those, and have those in their collections, and I'm glad that they did without my intervention. But I will write to them saying like, hey, now you're doing these albums, you gotta continue it. We're gonna need, help. Rubber Soul, Yesterday and Today, Revolver, Hey Jude. We don't need another Sergeant Pepper or Magical Mystery Tour or the other ones. We already have those. Um, but I am definitely gonna get these. Now the question is, am I gonna get it as a box set or am I gonna get them individually? I'm gonna get them individually. As much as I would love to have gotten the box, and the box really does look very, very cool, and it would be great to, like get like a mono copy of, yeah. But as great as it would have got the box, I think financially for me is not feasible at this moment, and I think if you really look at it, if you really look at how much these albums are going individually, um, they are from the original analog Capitol tapes. They're definitely taking it from the original Capitol tapes, and which is why I want to get these albums because we're getting the original U.S. Capitol mono versions. We're not going to get the UK versions that they try to shove down our throat when they put out that stupid Capitol album set. The one that comes in a cube, and you know I did not get that thing. I had no intentions of ever getting that, mainly because I had already gotten the 2009 stereo CDs and the 2009 mono CDs as well. I don't really need those again. If that box would have come with like the original Capitol ones, like the the U.S. albums Volume One and Volume Two did back in 2004, 2006, then I would have gone for it. But I was like, no. Um, but if you look at the pricing, like a lot of these albums individually are going for $30 each. So if you look at these albums, one, two, three, four, five, and six, add that together, it basically comes out to $180. Um, Whereas the box set is they're charging you 300 for the set. And um, and if you really look at the math, this being a bonus title, and it's a double album, they probably would have charged you 35 for this. So at 35 to 180, that comes out to 210, 215. Um, nice. I'll definitely have to look into buying it from Ingroove then. Um, you're looking at like with the box set, it'll if you have like all these and this together, it will basically be 215, I think. And then plus the box itself, it only costs them about $10 to make the box, so that comes out to 225. So, oh, then yeah, then I don't need to go to Ingroove. Um, so it's like, hey Kemba, so it's like, why are they charging us $300 for a box set that in value itself it's only 230 maybe? And you also have to figure a lot of things out with that box set too. Is that it's gonna cost you $30 to get the box set. Plus, there's gonna be like a sales tax, and then there's gonna be like a state tax, and then there's gonna be like a silly county tax and some other type of other little tax that's gonna come out that, and then plus you're gonna get the shipping, unless you have Prime like I do. Then it's only gonna cost you 300 plus whatever sales tax comes with it. Because with Prime you get free shipping. With Prime purchases. So as much as I would love to have got the box set, and it looks really nice, it looks great. Uh, it it's a no brainer. I'm just gonna get these albums individually, one or a couple at a time. I think the first two I'm gonna get is gonna be Meet the Beatles and something new. And with Meet the Beatles, I'm gonna get the Target pr- um, release of that one, and that's gonna come like the blue vinyl. That reminds me, I should pre-order that right now. So I'm gonna do that pre-order, and then I'm gonna probably in a week or so do this pre-order. Maybe I'll do the pre-order of this one and this one together. Um, but yeah, it's like but forgetting about the pricing, overall, I'm very, very excited for this. I'm very, very excited to, get these records into my collection. To have the mono versions finally in my collection, because I never really had them in mono. I all these that you see right here, they're all stereo pressings, and they're very different stereo pressings. Like some are from like original stereos. Ones are from the 1970s. Some came out in '85 with the that beautiful Wally pressings that we gotten. Um, so it's gonna be great to have those mono versions accompanying these versions of it. Um, but I like to say like I'm very, very extremely happy, and it is a thing where a lot of us Beatles fans were not really expecting these. I don't think I heard any talks about this until possibly for the past 2 or 3 days. 'Cause I think a lot of us were basically hoping that the next announcement would have been the super deluxe edition of Rubber Soul, which we all are still waiting for them to do a Rubber Soul box. In the same way that we're all still waiting for Paul McCartney to do another archive release with London Town um, and Back to the Egg, or possibly Off the Ground and Press to Play. Um, but he sidewinded us and gave us one hand clapping. Um, so I'm gonna be excited to add this to my collection. And I also like to add this little part as kind of a response to, um, I think his name is Matt or something like that, but he does Pop Goes the 60s. I just recently saw his video and I was not totally happy with this video. It seems like he was nitpicking at each and every reissue that came out with the things. You know, he called the U.S. albums, volumes 1 and 2, kind of flimsy when he didn't take in account that they're really well put together. We got both the actual capital versions on those titles, and plus we got nice essays from Bruce Spreiser, which Bruce Spreiser has never done a thing on a Beatles release package before. So to get Bruce Spreiser to be part of that set is really really cool. Um, I also loved the 1987 CDs that came out. I think it's more for nostalgia reasons. You know, the excitement back in the 80s when Beatles CDs were coming out, that was really really cool. And you know, again, like as you've seen the long boxes that I have of them, like really takes me back as a child when my dad used to bring them home and we played them in the CD player and stuff. So that was exciting. And then we got those, you know, the the US albums boxes were amazing. I remember those being exciting times when those came out. And then I really loved the 2009 remasters of the stereo box and the mono box on CD, because it was the first time ever that on CD we were getting the stereo albums of Please Please Me with the Beatles, Artie's Night, and Beatles for Sale, which previously we only had them in mono on CD. And it was the same time that first time that we even got the mono versions of Help, Rubber Soul, Revolver, Sgt. Pepper, Magical Mystery Tour, and the White Album in mono. Plus, like you know, a CD filled with you know like all the mono mixes of all the singles. You know, um, so and plus we have not have like you know the blue and red albums that came out throughout the years that I'm very very excited for. You know, and you know the vinyl stereo and mono box as well. So sorry. So there's like aside from that, hey William, aside from that blue um, U.S. Capitol box set that came out on CD, which is the only disappointing box set that came out of the Beatles. All the other ones, A plus all the way. Um, so I think Pop Goes the 60s needs to really evaluate like you know the significance of those issues. You know. Um, So yeah, I'm definitely gonna get the new Beatles mono albums. I'm excited to get those into my collection. I can't wait to hear them. It's probably gonna be a while till I can listen to them because I think around the time that those come out, I'm gonna be in San Diego prepping for my surgery, and I know that they're gonna be being delivered here to my house. Well, I'm gonna be gone, and I probably won't be able to listen to them until January of next year, because I'm gonna be doing my a lot of my recovery in San Diego, and I won't be home for about a month and a half doing my recovery out there. So I probably won't be able to hear them until the second week of January. Um, but once I'm able to get a hold them in my hand, you know, when I get home and listen to them, I'm gonna be excited to listen to finally listen to them all and enjoy them and stuff. Um, so yeah, so great job, Capital and Apple, for putting this out. I hope you do another box with the other albums, you know, and stuff. And um, and also everybody later on this month, go out and see One Hand Clapping in theaters that are hopefully near you. I can't wait to see it. I'm gonna see it with my mom and my sister. We're gonna go out and see it, so I'm looking forward to seeing that and letting everybody know how what I think about it and stuff. But you know what? It's Paul McCartney. I'm gonna most likely love it. You know, so um, so that's it for me. That's it. That's my thing for this Beatles thing. And but let me know in the comments like what you thinking about this this box set. Are you gonna get it? Are you not? Are you excited? Are you not? Tell me why. Tell me why not. You know. So yeah. So tell me why you cry. Why you lie to me? Just kidding. I had to work that in after I said tell me why. Um, so have a great night, everyone. Stay safe out there. Drink a lot of water. Um, and please do not eat your cats and dogs. Do not eat your cats and dogs. Much love. Love you.